Okay, as we start today on page 173, let's take a look at this setup. So we have these two lines, L1 and L2, L1 and L2, and we're asked to draw another line that passes through this point that makes it so that L2 and L3 are parallel. So we're asked to draw another line through this point, but that makes it so that this line and whatever this line is are parallel. Now, we can probably see that the line is going to be something like this, right? It'll be something like that. But how do I actually make it parallel? Based on what we did yesterday, what do we know will be true about this line? What would be some angles that we'd be able to find? Maybe a way to do this. Well, first of all, of course, my favorite way of drawing parallel lines is put a ruler. Put a ruler on one line and then draw another one there. Right? That's as easy as it gets. Unfortunately, in this case, that doesn't quite actually go through point P. So that's a great way to draw parallel lines. Take something that's actually parallel and just trace it. Perfectly fine. But in this case, we need to go through point P. Now, based on what we were doing yesterday, we noticed that, for example, in this case, this angle is 115 degrees. This angle is 115 degrees. And that tells us that this is parallel. Well, I bet you we can do something similar here. What if I measure this? What if I look at this line and I say, okay, how big is this angle? Based on this line, at this point, I see that I have a 105 degree angle. That's 105 degrees. Well, what if I then went from this point here along this line and also marked a 105 degree angle? And if I connected the dots from P to here, and we draw a line that has a 105 degree angle, we should be able to say that this is parallel, right? They have the same corresponding angle. Joy Hose corresponds to 7-Eleven, right? Sorry, Fran, you missed it. You're a little confused. Yes? Which page is it? 173. Am I wrong? Is the numbering different? This might be an older book. Am I right? Page 173? Yes. Okay, we're good. But so this point corresponds to this point. Okay, the angles are the same. Therefore, these are parallel. We now know that L2 is parallel to L3. So I just figured that out by making sure that this angle and this angle were the same. I drew that in. Yeah, I drew that in. I used my protractor to draw this line. So I was asked to draw a third line so that it was parallel. The way I did that is I made sure I had an angle that was the same, and then I made a parallel line. Okay, now let's put the protractor back away, and let's use the math we know. So on figure 4 here, we have these angles. Let's see, there's an airport with these runways that intersect. This seems a little bit dangerous. Plane here. I hope they time this very well. Now notice, this isn't quite a right angle, right? This is 85 degrees, this angle. We also see that this one is 43 degrees. And we're asked to find what x is, what y is, and what z is. Okay. Anyone have any idea of how I could find any of these angles initially, based on what I know? Hint, look for vertical angles, corresponding angles, alternating angles. Look for any of those relationships you might see. I think this 43 should help us with one of them initially.
I think y is going to be 33.
Why is that?
Because it's direct to y is 85. Because I think
Okay, nice. You read service road runs parallel to runway 1. Oh, sorry, and this here is runway 1. So these are parallel.
yeah.
So you're saying if this is 43, then this has to be 43. Oh, nice. Yeah, well done. Okay. How about any other ones? Would we be able to make a guess on x? Yes, this is vertically opposite from here. You also could see, now that Moose had pointed out that this is 43, this is also alternating angles. So it's 43 because of this. It's also 43 because of this. Yeah, so X and Y are both 43 degrees. Nice. Okay, how about Z?
85.
85 plus 43 minus 180.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so you're thinking if we make this a triangle? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Sure. I think there might be an easier way. You're sure? Find what you're finding. What about that other one we talked about yesterday, the co-interior angles, or the same side interior angles, where we said this one plus this one together, 85 plus Z, should be equal to 180, right? These two together need to be 180. So then, if so, how big Z? That seem right?
So what do you do?
I noticed that this and this are co-interior angles, and the two of them together have to add up to 180.
Z is 25.
Okay, so we've drawn parallel lines. We've used parallel lines to figure out some information here. Now you get a chance to do a bit of practice. Now, yesterday we did the first part of this. Most of you guys got questions 1, 2 done, maybe. I want you to do 3, 4. I want you to try 5. The drawing's actually fine here. I want you to try 6. Hint, hint. Make sure that you know how to do 6. And then we can leave it here. If you finish, I also wouldn't mind if you take a bit of time and just check to see with each of these which lines are parallel, which ones aren't. This is kind of a brain trip. So finish the homework and then also jump into the math lab. I'm suspecting that in 25-ish minutes or so, we'll be done this, and we'll be able to move on to the next activity we planned, okay? Good.